Sports Show.
Tonight on a Nation Sports Show, we wrap up our coverage of the opening round of the 2025 NBA playoffs, concluding the first round were 2 Game 7s being played. We were so close to having a trifecta of Game 7s taking place over the weekend. Tonight, we also start our coverage of round 2 of these playoffs. What a great way, kicking off the semifinals matchups in the Eastern Conference with the top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers facing the Indiana Pacers. We also bring to you our thoughts on Game 1 and the other Eastern Conference semifinals matchup between the defending NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, and the New York Knicks. Tonight, we also bring to you our thoughts on one of the greatest coaches in sports history, Greg Popovich, stepping down as the longtime head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, transitioning to president of basketball operations. Tonight, we also bring to you our thoughts on the NBA's return this fall to NBC, plus the latest breaking news in the NFL, and so much more. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are live. What's going on, sports fans? I am Mr. Vickery, and we thank you guys for joining us. It is a Tuesday, and you know what that means, and that is our Nation Sports Show is live. We thank you guys for joining us here on a Tuesday night, spending your hour or so with us. And we got a good amount to get into, mainly in the world of the NBA. We'll get into a little bit of NFL news, and of course, we'll talk about the NHL playoffs that are currently taking place. And of course, we got UFC 315 dropping this weekend, and other things to talk about as well. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But of course, the ways you can interact with us are at Owen_Sports Show on the good old Twitter machine, Facebook.com, Instagram.com, and YouTube.com are all at Our Nation Sports Show. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. Don't forget to do that, please. And also, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for past episodes, past specials that we've done, and past themed episodes that we got into as well. And we're planning to do another theme one soon. We will let you know as soon as we finalize details. That'll probably be here in the next couple weeks to a month. Obviously, schedule pending. But once we do that, we'll let you know. Don't forget to also follow the Nation's Corner and the Nation's Corner on the Instagram page, and it's Nation's Corner most of everywhere else. Go on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific every Saturday, where they talk all things RESSLIN, that spells wrestling. And of course, after another hectic week of pro wrestling last week that they went through, we got another week of craziness coming up with a full weekend of events. TNA Under Siege on Friday, along with Friday Night SmackDown. Saturday, you've got Maple Leaf Pro's Northern Rising event, which has got an NWA World Title defense, and Bullet Club's past versus Bullet Club's future, when Drilla Maloney and David Finley of the Bullet Club War Dogs take on Gallows and Anderson of the original Bullet Club. Also, don't forget on Saturday as well, WWE Backlash, of course, possibly the last time, John Cena, Randy Orton for the Undisputed Championship. And, of course, Pat McAfee versus the Ring General Gupta. and we'll talk. And they'll talk about that. They'll talk about what happened on Raw and everything else in between on Saturday. And also, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner, or not Nation's Corner, Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials. Once again, we are getting prepared for our annual Too Sweet Cosplay photo shoot meetup at Anime Central. That's, of course, going to be at McCormick Place, the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois, which is also connected to the Hyatt Regency O'Hare, which is going to be there as well. It's going to be at both locations. We'll be in Hall F over on the Convention Center side, so find us there. It'll be around between 2 and 3 o'clock. So if you can, get your tickets at acen.com. If you're in the area, come find us. Take some photos, hang out with us, toss some wrestling with us, and you never know what could happen at these meetups. We've had stranger things happen. Hell, we've had Victorias show up at it. We've had wrestlers show up at our tables before, so this is nothing new. Anything could happen. But enough of my spiel, enough of plugging things, enough of doing the boring stuff that I don't get paid to do. Let's talk about what we came here to talk about, and that's sports. And of course, Kevin Rory will be joining us a little bit later in the show. Of course, he'll be on to talk with us about the NBA playoffs. Of course, talk about especially his Golden State Warriors in that Game 7. He'll be talking about that. But with me right now, coming to us from an undisclosed location, aka a hotel in freaking wherever he is my heavy metal brother from North Carolina, the king of metal. He's on his way to a metal festival. Who would have thought? And here he is, live and in color. Well, bad choice of words. He is Stephen Wyatt. What's going on, dude?
What is going on? Yes, I am live and in living color, and we are a bunch of cults of personalities, I must say. And it is going to be a fun show here tonight, recapping the NBA playoffs, the conclusion of round number 1, and what a great way of kicking off round 2 in the semifinals with 3 of 4 games being so close in these last couple of days. And game 7s, we were all excited, and then that happened. It was what it was, I guess. But we'll recap all of that. We'll get into the news of Greg Popovich and all of that, and so much more. So with that being said, let's do this.
Yes, sir. We got a lot to get into, and oh man, where do we start? Let's start off with the NHL playoffs, and this has gone on pretty strong, and some matchups are already in the second round. Last night we saw a great matchup between the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round. Toronto won game 1, 5-4. Tonight we see Carolina taking on the Washington Capitals, which is going to be a great series there, and the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. But the game we got to talk about is the game that could have went on forever at that point, and that is the double overtime win of the Winnipeg Jets at home in Game 7 against a tough St. Louis Blues team. Obviously, I know about the Blues better than anybody, being a Blackhawks fan. I know how tough they are. They're right up there with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And, you know, it's the Detroit Red Wings. They are some of the toughest teams to face. And the fact that Winnipeg came in there, was able to tie this up, get it to double overtime, were able to hit the game winner and end this series at home. By the way, congratulations go out to Chris Jericho, who is a fan of the Winnipeg Jets. At least one of his 2 teams made it. But they're moving on to the second round. They play officially on, I believe they play officially on tomorrow, actually. When Florida and Toronto play game 2, it will be game 1 between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. Hey, there he is.
What's going on, everybody?
The man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. Unlike
Ant-Man.
LeBron, he knows how to get things done in the clutch. What's up, K-Rock, Kevin Rory?
Ant-Man,
going on,
Batman,
fellas?
Weedman, Dubs, and 5.
I said what I said. Lakers in 5. Lakers going to Cancun in 5. What's going on, everybody? I thought I'd hop on here for a little bit.
Sure, man.
What's going on,
Sure,
man?
Sports. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We were just giving a quick recap of the NHL playoffs. We were talking about that unbelievable double overtime win by the Winnipeg Jets the other night. Double overtime win 4-3 over the St. Louis Blues at home in Game
Man.
7.
Whew. Yeah, that,
There is nothing like
intense
playoff
game.
hockey.
Yeah.
There's nothing like playoff hockey. It is full of
Absolutely.
intensity.
Yeah, the next time they
Exactly.
play, yeah, and that game played on the 4th. Next time they play is tomorrow, where they're in their second round matchup, Game 1 against the Dallas Stars. So,
And the
Quick
Dallas
turnaround.
Stars are coming off a game 7 of their own.
Yeah, a lot of game sevens go on in hockey.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
A
man,
lot.
absolutely. But
And, and most of these game sevens in hockey, unlike the two so far in the NBA, are more competitive.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen better competitive matchups on freaking on main event.
Now that's saying something.
Just ask Karrion Cross. Um,
Don't
but
let don't make him turn into Killer Cross. I'll cut a promo on you, brother.
well, just remember, he's the devil you know, and not the devils that you don't. Say,
Yeah,
ah,
exactly. At least he's telling you he's the devil. I mean, hell, you got to figure out who else is the damn devil. That was a good deed.
yeah, and dirty deeds are done dirt cheap, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Kevin, let's get right into it. You're the man about this. This is sports. But before we get into the games, I do want to talk about the biggest news that broke over this entire weekend. That was, of course, the announcement that after 29 seasons, Greg Popovich, the great Greg Popovich, by the way, a local Northern Indiana native from Maryville High School, one of the greatest, it has decided to step down as head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. What a legacy he leaves behind. 5 NBA championships, the winningest coach of all time at 1,401 wins. Just an incredible legacy he leaves behind. And now he goes into this new front office position, president of basketball operations. And what did he do? He did it in the most Greg Popovich way, with
Yes.
the El Jefe shirt on the front, and then on the back, president of basketball operations.
Gotta
Fantastic.
love Pop. Yeah.
Pop might be going through what he's gone through in the last couple of years, but Pop is still doing Pop things. Like he's so witty, he's so great, he's so quick, and just my God, like what more can you say with this guy? I mean, Kev, you and I, we've known each other for 20 years, 21 years to be exact. And we have witnessed this man lead his Spurs to multiple championships. I mean, this guy, he treated every single man from Tim Duncan all the way to the guy at the end of the bench equally. He didn't care if you were the star player on the team or you were the last guy holding up the bench. He treated every single one of his athletes with the utmost respect and all of that. Just what a great guy.
Yeah, I'm happy for Pop. I mean, he deserves it. He deserves a little semi-retirement. I mean, he's gave it his all to the game, and I mean, I just know personally, to me, that's probably growing up the best coach that I personally watched coach the game of basketball. I mean, I know you got your Phil Jacksons, you got your Pat Rileys. I mean, obviously your Eric Spoelstra's, the Steve Kerrs, but I mean, Greg Popovich took a team, and let's be honest, I do not want to thrash their legacy, but Tim Duncan was the best player that Spurs team had, and he is arguably the most quiet, straightforward power forward you've ever seen. But they didn't have no superstars. You can't sit there and tell me Tony Parker is a top 8 point guard in history because he wasn't. You can't tell me Manu Ginobili is a top 5 shooting guard in NBA history because he wasn't. That was about teamwork. It was about like listening and doing right by the team. And Greg Popovich, week in and week out, game in and game out, has his team ready to play. And like the he was such a thorn in Kobe Bryant's side. He was such a thorn in LeBron James's side. Like arguably two of the top 5 greatest players ever alive will literally sit there and tell you beating a Greg Popovich coach team was one of the hardest things that either one of them guys have ever done because they are so well prepared, well coached. I mean, all the way down to the X's and O's to strategy. I mean, Greg Popovich even had a strategy of taking Shaquille O'Neal, the league's most dominant player in NBA history, out of the game by fouling him. The Hack-a-Shack was invented by Greg Popovich. He said, you know what? If we can't stop them, Fuck it, use his weakness against him. Let's foul him, make him shoot. They pulled that game, and that technique is still used to this day. And I'm going to give you a good example when we get into it. But the hack of Shaq was literally to take Shaq off the floor, and it worked. So Greg Popovich, year in and year out, he just coached his ass off. I mean, and they were a Ray Allen lucky ass shot away from being a 6-time NBA champions. Let's just not to fail to mention that.
And
Same with we.
also to add, real quick, Kev, as well, look at the players that Greg had on his team. From Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, like we talked about, Manu Ginobili, and a guy who was a defensive presence, the great Bruce Bowen. Bruce
Oh,
Bowen was a
yeah.
guy that this is what made Popovich the X's and O's essential of head coaches in professional basketball. He took his best defensive weapon and said, "Hey, I think you can guard Kobe Bryant. I think you can guard LeBron. I think you can guard Dwayne Wade." He was so fundamentally sound on the defensive side of the basketball. He didn't have to be this great volume shooter. All he had to do was just show up and play tenacious defense and bottle your game up and make you, mortal. And just that's how great Pop paid attention to the game because he did what he had to do. That's why I would kind of say that he reminds me of Bill Belichick, in the NFL, because Bill and Greg are similar in the way that they approach, you know, football and basketball, is they will try to exploit the weaknesses of the ball clubs that they're facing. And 9 times out of 10, Belichick and Popovich were doing that. This is why Greg was always success in the NBA because he knew what he was doing. It didn't matter if he had the great David Robinson. It didn't matter if he had um, obviously Tony Parker or even Kawhi Leonard in his first couple of years in the NBA. I mean, he could coach anybody and make anybody believe in his resume and believe in his game plan because that's how great he is.
Oh, I agree. And the point I'm making is that here's where I think Phil Jackson and Pat Riley and guys like that, here's where I think they take a hit on their coaching. We talk about Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, but none of them guys are Kobe Bryant. None of them guys are Michael Jordan.
No.
Phil Jackson had both of those guys. So in the last second of the ball game, he didn't have to do any coaching. We know what the plan was: get the ball to Michael Jordan, get the ball to Kobe Bryant. Popovich had to draw up a play so his team can run their system, and it worked every single time.
Look at
I
the
mean,
shot that Robert Ory hit against the Pistons in game 5 to win that
Greg
game.
Popovich is a hell of a coach, and I mean, I'm glad. And I think it's funny you mentioned Greg Popovich way of being introduced as the president of basketball operations. I'll never forget. Was it 2007 after the league changed the hack a Shaq rule? The very first play of the game, just to troll somebody, just to troll Shaq, Greg Popovich fouled him in the first 5 seconds of the game, just as a laugh. And you could tell Shaq looked over there like, "Oh, you motherfucker, you didn't just do that." And then Pop hit him with a quick smile, and Shaq started laughing too. He was like, "Gotcha." That's the most Greg Popovich thing I'll ever remember. But no, as far as players, there's so many players in the league now, active players that look up to Greg Popovich from his days from being the USA basketball coach and coaching in the FIBA and the Olympics. And like, I mean, you got like your LeBron James who love him. You got your Draymond Greens who says that's one of the best coaches he's ever listened to and learned from. I mean, even to the guys we're about to talk about here in this game 7 who are Popovich students, so to speak. Steve Kerr and Ime Udoka both coached under Greg Popovich, both played under Greg Popovich. So I mean, his coaching tree it's a long list of coaches, and I mean it's very impressive.
Anytime Greg had a plan, he would draw it up and he would catch you off guard. It didn't matter what he was going to do because he knew if he came up with the right offensive or defensive scheme, He was going to catch the opponent off guard. Like I brought up the big three that Robert Ory had against the Pistons, that tough, defense in the Pistons that held that big four of the Lakers to under 60 points a game pretty much the entire NBA Finals in 2004. And here's Popovich, who knew how to exploit a great defensive team at the right opportunistic time, because Robert Ory was known for his big shots when it comes to hitting these clutch shots when it mattered the most. And I think that what Popovich also did is he was so good at what he did that like he I think the NBA finals that the Spurs had against the Cavaliers when they swept them, Tony Parker, that series alone, he became a star. And as we know, when Tony came into the NBA at first, he was not a great jump shooter. But as he got older, he started to get that jump shot down pat. I mean, he was when he would hit his threes and he was hitting them, he was hard to stop. I mean, Tony Parker just is an incredible point guard. I mean, and that's all because now I think he's still talented no matter what, but Popovich really is a huge hand in why Parker became one of the greats because he believed in him. He believed in everybody that was on that team. I mean, Michael Finley hit some big shots for the Spurs. Obviously, like I said, Ori hit some big shots. Who is that other guy? 99. What's his face? I can't think of his name. It's going to hit me like a ton of bricks, like when I'm not even thinking about it. But any player on that team, he knew what to do. He knew how to get them prepared. I mean, as we also know too, Kev, he was a part of our armed services. He had a very strict way of teaching his players.
He created a culture, so to speak, in San Antonio. Like, just do right. Don't fuck up. Not none of this drama. Just do right. And you're right. He didn't care who you was. There's two Popovich moments that stand out to me, and one of them was the very next game in the finals against the Miami Heat after Danny Green had that crazy game with all them threes. The next game in the finals, he called a timeout within 6 seconds in the game and lit a fire under Danny Green's ass for not playing defense. He lit a fire. Like, you could see the veins poking out of his neck coming off the timeout. Won't even, it was still 11 minutes left to go in the game in the first quarter. He called a timeout running on the floor. He was just a hooting and hollering at Danny Green. He had that and Danny Green. He told him, if you don't play defense, your ass is on the bench. I don't care how good you're shooting the ball. You're going to play defense. I don't
And
care.
that's what I
That comes
loved about
first.
Popovich is he didn't give a damn. He
No, he was
was
going to treat you the same way. He got into Tim Duncan a couple of times, got in his ass for get 3 seconds or other shit, and then another moment. Matter of fact, I think it came in the last year or two when Greg Popovich interrupted the free throw by stealing the PA announcer's microphone to tell the fans to shut up. That was the most Greg Popovich thing. Like, he said, "Hold on, if you would have my attention, please, everyone, please just shut up."
wait a minute, wait a minute. You know what? Too bad this never happened. But what if Popovich was the anonymous Raw channel manager?
We That would be a sight to behold. Let's just say that. But no, that's such a great
Uh,
Popovich. The guy's a very good personality. He's got a good sense of humor. But when it's time to do business, it's time to do business, and that was what Greg Popovich was all about.
he had such great one-liners in his press conferences that would get the room just laughing. I
Yeah, he
mean,
reminded me of Kobe in that perspective. Just them little one-liner, like smirking. Huh? Okay.
mm-hmm, so good. I mean, and just think about this too. Like you just mentioned too, Kev, he was a Ray Allen lucky three-pointer away, missing from being 6 times champion, perfect in the finals,
Yeah.
joining Michael Jordan. And I mean, and that's another thing too that people don't pay attention to with Popovich is his bench. His benches, no matter who was on that team, everybody knew their role and played it very well.
But that just goes back to the old saying, bro. Deep defense wins championships in football, but a bench wins championships in basketball. And Greg
Exactly.
Popovich always made sure that he stacked his bench up. This is why Manu Ginobili did not start. Is he starter caliber? Oh yes. But Popovich balanced that out, so you've always got a star on the floor at any time, with him playing with the second unit a lot to give Tony Parker a break, and then they all joining together in crunch time. That is, he invented the six man basically with
Brent
Manu
Berry was
Ginobili.
another great secondary player to come in and
Yep.
play.
Yep. All right, guys, let's get into that game 7 between Golden State and Houston, and how Golden State, especially Kev's case, whooped that ass.
Yeah,
Oh,
they there was one problem with Houston. I knew they weren't going to win the game 7. I mean, I got a little PTSD as a Warrior fan about blowing 3-1 leads. Oh dear God! But I knew they weren't going to lose the game 7 because Houston's inexperience. What they fail to realize is game 7 isn't a regular basketball game. There's so much pressure, so much tension. Like the tension's so rough, you could slit it with a plastic pair of scissors. That's how tight it is in that building. I mean, and then you got to look at it from Houston's standpoint as an organization in the Steph Curry and Draymond era and Steve Kerr era, 0-5 against Golden State in series, dating back to 2015. 15, 17, 18, and 19 all lost to Golden State, including the game 7, where James Harden and company misses 30 something, 26 3 pointers in a row. Speaking of missed threes, we'll get into that later.
I
But
mean, for the love of God, this was no contest. I mean, Kev, you hit the nail on the head on Sunday on Facebook and in our chat, saying that, oh, when the pressure shifted on the Rockets and with their backs against the wall in games 5 and 6, they played great. But when the pressure shifted back onto them in game 7 on their floor, folded.
yep. They folded
Done.
in game 3. They folded in game 4 because of the pressure. I said this before the series started. If when Houston wins against Golden State, it will be a blowout. They will not win a close game. If they win a close game, it's because Golden State came back and made it somewhat close. And I
Yep.
was right. Game 2 was a blowout because Jimmy Butler got hurt. Houston won.
Yeah.
Anytime Golden State had the lead after the first quarter, they won in this series. The reason why? Houston does not have that player to stop the bleeding. That is their problem. That is supposed to be Jalen Green, but apparently Jalen Green turns into Jalen Red because everything he throws up is bricks. He can't shoot. I don't know what the hell happened to him. The best player in that series is this, and I got to be honest, one of the twins, Amen Thompson, is an absolute stud. He is going to be a problem for years to come. And I mean, he just don't have it all offensively. He's a two-way player. That's why you're relying on Jalen Green. And darn, I don't know. He got outscored by the wrong Green. Draymond Green is the one that outscored Jalen Green. So the wrong Green out. But
And
if there was one off-season move Houston needs to make, I honestly say it's to get Kevin Durant, because that is also Houston's problem. They don't have shooting. If it wasn't for Fred VanVleet playing like Toronto Raptors 2019 NBA Finals Fred VanVleet, I mean,
mm-hmm.
probably would have lost earlier than that. They have no shooting at all. I mean, Dylan Brooks, oh dear God, don't get me started on
Ooh,
that.
ooh.
Can't shoot. Sangoon can't shoot. Steven Adams obviously can't shoot. There, Jalen Green, I don't. He definitely can't shoot after watching this series.
Just
And
start calling him Jalen Brickhouse because
that's
that's
all
all he's
they
doing.
had. So if you're asking me, out of two players Houston could get, who do you want, KD or Giannis? I'm going to say KD because KD gives you that outside threat. He can get a bucket when you need to stop the bleeding. And we've seen that in game 7. Steph Curry played his role great. Started out getting triple teamed, made the right play, didn't turn the ball over, got Buddy Hield going, busted that zone, by the way, and I'll get into that.
Buddy Hield. Oh
Buddy
my
Hield had the
God.
game of his life. So we got game 6 Clay, and I guess we got game 7 Buddy. Why he wears the 7 on his jersey. But he was busting their ass, and every three Houston did not have an answer. They couldn't have somebody to just go get a bucket. This is why you need a Kevin Durant. When the Golden State has the momentum, you need a guy who can say, "Get me the ball and let me get a bucket to end this run." Houston didn't have that, and I love Shangoon. He's going to be a great center, by the way. He's got a very bright future as a rookie for Houston, but they didn't have nobody to stop the bleeding. And then once Buddy Hield got going in the first, in the second, Houston's legs wore down. I mean, even though they're young, they have no experience in that game seven. They were wearing down, but little did they know, Steph Curry was pacing himself the whole game. And then in that fourth quarter, when Steph Curry got some creases, he slammed the door shut. Him and Jimmy Butler do what they do best. They slammed the door shut and said, "Fuck it, it's over. Go to sleep, night night. Thanks for coming. We see y'all later." And we also need to stop this hating on Steve Kerr, man. He is a hell of a coach. I'm sick of getting on Facebook from some of these idiot Warrior fans in this community. "Oh, Steve Kerr's overrated. He's a horrible coach. Why isn't he playing Kuminga? You idiots, Kuminga can't shoot." I mean, I watched Kuminga get a few minutes in this series, and every time he come in, he'd make like 4 or 5 back-to-back mistakes, and Steve Kerr done yanked him like, "Oh, okay, get out of here, dude. You're fucking it up. We already got enough non-shooters on the floor. Draymond Green is not a shooter. Jimmy Butler not particularly a shooter. Why would we add another non-shooter to be on the floor with them?" I mean, the Jimmy Butler trade basically just canceled out Kuminga, and I'm okay with that. But to sit there and say that Steve Kerr is a bad coach is blasphemous. I mean, Steve Kerr, look at this. He is 3-0 in road game sevens as a Warrior head coach. That is pretty fucking impressive if you ask
Yes,
me.
it is.
I mean, to go on the road in a game seven, coach your ass off, create a great game plan. I mean, everything that Houston got working for them in game five and six, Golden State countered in game seven. Steve Kerr countered. You know that big lineup that dominated the paint in game five and six with Steven Adams and Shangoon? Golden State got him out of it. The reason
Yep.
why? Scoring. They spread the floor. They got Steven Adams. They fouled Steven Adams, made him go to the line. They hack a Adams, the hack a Shaq thing that I was talking about
And
earlier.
it worked.
He couldn't make free throws. Ime Udoka had no choice but to pull him out. And once you pulled him out the game, then Golden State was licking their chops to get inside the paint with Jimmy Butler. And that's exactly what happened.
And
Then
there's
also,
also, oh, go
Buddy
ahead.
Buddy Hield in the zone. Houston went to that zone in game five and game six. And in that zone in game six, if you don't remember, Houston busted the game wide open in the fourth quarter, outscoring Golden State and only giving up 12 points to Golden State in the fourth quarter. Golden State seemed like, oh, they couldn't beat the zone. But you know what? But you know what Steve Kerr did in Game Seven? Put Buddy Hield in. Said, "You know what? Don't be afraid to don't pass. Don't be afraid. Just jack that shot up. Just shoot it. You're a great shooter. Shoot the damn ball." And you know what happened? They tried that zone. Steph got the zone broke down with Draymond, and it was open all day long. Buddy Hield, bam, 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 because of Steve Kerr's putting him in the game as a shooter to spread that zone out. He busted Houston right out of that zone, and then they busted the game wide open after the second quarter. They couldn't play that zone no more, and Golden State got anything they wanted after that.
And it segues right back to what we were just talking about, Kevin, is that Greg Popovich had that coaching mentality that he put on guys like Steve Kerr. And Steve Kerr believes in the guys on his Warriors team. I mean, Buddy Hield, he's a guy that was not a lockdown shooter, for a lot during this series. But when it mattered the most, Kerr said, "Hey, you're a shooter for a reason. Get your ass out there on that court and play like a true shooter. And if you have a wide open shot, sling it, shoot it. Because if you shoot it with confidence, more than likely, you're going to have a better shot of making the shot." And it's crazy because every time that Kerr would counterpunch the big lineup that Houston was having and forcing the Rockets to go small ball, they were just playing right into the Warriors' hands.
Yep.
Because every time Houston would try to shoot a three, they would brick it. They would brick it. I lost how many bricks they were building when it comes to consecutive misses. I think at one point they missed like 14 consecutive threes. And I'm like, dude, this is similar to missing 27 consecutive threes against the Warriors, of all places, game seven on the road.
And you know what? I gotta respect Steve Kerr for this. But before Game 7, I don't know if you read the report. Anybody read the reports? But they had a team meeting. Obviously, Draymond stood up, got him fired up, ready to go. Steve Kerr had a one-on-one conversation with Steph. He basically told Steph, he said, "Look, man, you know what Ime Udoka is trying to do. They're trying to just attack you. They're treating it like 1-on-5, like they're anybody but you. Don't don't play into that shit. Don't jack up threes. Don't turn over. Don't try to do too much. Just let it come to you. Make the right play. They'll wear down. Then you'll get your shots." And what happened? The first half, Steph Curry had 3 points. I mean, 0 of 5. I mean, he didn't get many shots because of the defense. They were blitzing him with Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Fred Van Fleet. They were bringing anybody and everybody on Steph Curry. Steve Kerr basically said, "Listen, I want you to have a LeBron James type game. Don't go out there and shoot and hit 10 threes and do what you did against Sacramento. Against Sacramento Game 7, I needed you to score 50. You did that. This Game 7, they're playing you 110%. I want you to make the right play. Buddy, you shoot the ball with confidence." That's what Steph Curry did. 10 rebounds for Steph Curry. As a 6'3" point guard, he had 22 points, 19 in the second half because, again, they started wearing down and they didn't play good defense on Steph in that second half. And Steph got some great looks and ended up scoring a lot, and 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and only 2 turnovers. That is what Steve Kerr wanted. And that is what won them that game. Steph Curry basically had a LeBron James floor general, let me be the leader on the floor type game. And he
Mm-hmm.
did that to perfection. He gave Buddy confidence because I don't know if you remember the play at the end. Steph had an open three, the dagger three that Buddy hit. Steph could have just pulled it. He was open, but Steph faked the three and passed it to Buddy Hield. That had to give Buddy Hield a lot of confidence because he's like, damn, the best shooter in the world passed open a shot to give it to me. Okay. And he knocked down the three, and Steph gave him the night. So it's about leadership, and I gotta say, Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy have been great leaders for this team. And since the arrival of Jimmy Butler, even the young guns, Brandon Podziemski, great defender, great shoot, like great player. Steve Kerr even said he reminds him a lot of a young uh Manu Ginobili, the lefty. How good
Wow.
he is with his left hand. Like you're like he's just good. He's just a good basketball player. Since Jimmy got there, he's elevated his game. And you know what? Another weapon Steve Kerr put in game 7 adjustment, I'll say real quick, was even with the big lineup, Steve Kerr countered that. You know what he did? He went to the old trusty big lineup Golden State has, even though it ain't that big. They inserted the 20 rebound man from the Sacramento series, Kevon Looney. That was the difference. He put Kevon Looney in there instead of Quentin Post because he said we don't need the shooting, we need the hustle, we need the physicality inside, we need to
Mm-hmm.
get rebounds, we need Draymond and Looney to both hold down that paint, keep Adams' big ass from around that rim, and that's what Looney did. Came in there, played his role perfect. Him and Draymond shut that shit down, and then they put Steven Adams on the bench. Then Golden State could get right back into what they wanted to get to.
Mm-hmm.
All together, a perfect game plan by Golden State. But you could tell experience matters. I don't care what nobody says. The old folks, they matter. Experience matters in this playoffs.
By the way, quick update. Cavaliers are up 32-17 over the Indiana Pacers in game 2.
Well, that's a response.
By the way, that's the end of the first quarter.
It looked like they responded very well.
Dude, they've been swarming Indiana, making them miss shots, turnovers. I mean, they've been just hammering Indiana any chance they get. They've been getting in there. It just is swarming Halliburton, swarming Miles Turner, making sure they can't get shots off. And their 3-point shooting has been stellar so far too. So, but yeah, I definitely agree on that Golden State game 7. This Golden State team right now appears to be unstoppable. I mean, but then again, anything can happen on any given day when it comes to the wonderful world of sports. We know that.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yes, again, and
You said there was another game 7, right, Steven?
Yes, there was
Oh,
another game 7, and it was another snooze fest. It was the Nuggets absolutely beating the shiznit out of Kawhi and the Clippers. Kawhi's gonna be healthy. He's gonna be the reason why they win the championship. James Harden is gonna finally get over the hump. Wah, wah, wah. What a bunch of horse shit.
well,
The
there was a
Clippers.
silver lining. There was a silver lining. At least Kawhi didn't get hurt. Now
This is
everything
true,
else
but
was
it's a
absolute crap.
fact. It's a fact that even when Kawhi is healthy, he still can't get past the best players because that Nuggets team, I don't know what the hell they did because it feels like this team is now going complete backwards, but for the good reasons of going ass backwards. Because you fired Michael Malone, and now this team is on a tear. I mean, that Clippers Nugget series was a dogfight, but that game 7 was a flat out ass whipping. I mean, just James Harden did not show up yet again when it mattered the most. All the chips were on the table and they got absolutely blitzed.
Well, there's four things that are guaranteed to happen in life: death, taxes, Golden State beating Houston in Game 7, and James Harden still coming up short when the playoffs start. And they all seem to happen this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
And oh, you can add another fifth one too. The Lakers getting destroyed by big men because they're undersized.
Yeah, I want to speak on that just for a second. What in the hell is Why is Rudy Gobert looking like Prime Shaq? 27 and 24, my ass. What? What are you doing? He's playing Pee Wee players out there. You let him look like Prime Dwight Howard out there. What? Oh my God!
12 of 15 from the field. I'm like, what the fuck is going
This
on?
Rudy Gobert is a guy who Shaq said if he wasn't 7'2", he'd be a cashier at Walmart. That's how bad he is at basketball. So the cashier at Walmart drops 27 points and 24 rebounds on your head, and you do nothing about it but watch and laugh.
Thank you for shopping at Walmart.
And Luca, you fat motherfucker. How are you this out of shape? You get blown by. I think an old man on life alert in a wheelchair could blow by him in a game of 1-on-1. That's how bad he is.
Kevin, the wrestlers who are left in catering are in better shape than Luca is.
No, I mean
Oh.
it's pitiful watching Luca try to defend. He's got
Oh
these.
my God.
I think they said 9 blow-bys in Game 5, which is unheard of. Means he was a traffic cone out there. Teams
Every
just use him
time
as
he
a
was
drill.
getting taken to the paint, just take him off the dribble. He's done. Or
Speaking
just
of
blow by
done.
him. He's
Hold on.
done.
Speaking of blow-bys, we'll be talking about Justin Tucker in a little while. But back to your game.
Well, that's a little hands-on. Oh, never mind.
I mean, that's what happened. Well, what do you think? What happens when you ask for a four-hand massage and the masseuse's only got 2 hands?
I mean, since he don't want to go, since he knows he ain't gonna get the kicking record, might as well go for a massage record from Deshaun Watson. Mike can reach
Damn.
that one.
It's a rub and tug. What are you gonna do?
There's
But
something in the water in
anyways,
the
back to Luca being out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, I think Otis could outrun him in a 40-yard dash.
Oh,
Oof.
I mean, I'm serious. I think it's that bad. And you know what? It's so bad that you got JJ Redick in the end of season press conference, basically calling him out without naming him, saying guys need to get in better shape. Some guys need to get in good shape. Some guys that are in decent shape, they all just need to get in championship shape. Nobody's on shape on this team. And I've heard the word shape about 100 times, and all I can see is Luka Doncic in a donut. Like, get your fat ass in shape. LeBron James is 50 years old. He ain't no getting more in shape than he's getting. I mean, he's about older than father time. So I
LeBron is 40 fucking years old, and father time has passed him by quickly.
with his size and the way he wears the color purple, he probably looks like a fucking donut from The Simpsons.
Oh,
I mean, listen, I know JJ Redick didn't. I mean, could have played his players, and I know that's the only blemish I would say on JJ. I don't blame JJ for this series loss. I blame again everybody's executive of the year, who I call out on this show. It seems like every month, once a month. Rob Pelinka. What are you doing? you get Luka Doncic, but what the hell are you going to do at center? And I said that when that trade went down. I said it's a lose lose. I mean, Dallas, why are you giving up Luka? And then I look at the Lakers like, okay, you got Luka, but who's going to stop the paint? There's no rim protector. There's no size. There's nothing. I mean, and I said it's going to bite him in the ass. I just
And
didn't
it
know it was
did.
going to be Rudy Gobert, going to be the one doing it. I
I
thought
mean,
Jokic was going to take them to school.
I thought Rudy Gobert was looking like primetime David Robinson at times, or he it was crazy. If he was actually still an active player, Yao Ming would beat the shit out of that Lakers undersized team. I mean, he would finally have a 45 or a 50-piece McNugget game against that undersized Laker team. I mean, anybody can beat this Lakers team. Was how bad they're undersized. I mean, they are so piss poor
And
on the
that was
defensive
the
end,
death of them. That
and
was
they
the
have
death
no
of them.
bench. No
Yeah, no,
bench.
none. And that's what I'm saying. Why is JG gonna put a bunch of bums in there when your best chance is either put a bunch of bums from the bench in or hope like hell LeBron and Luca might have enough in the gas tank to
Oh,
get you by.
Kev, another
I mean,
thing,
he ain't
Kev.
got a
What
choice.
the hell are you doing putting Kaminga in the fucking game? In that game, in a game that he hasn't played, in months.
Oh, you talking about that no Klubet
Yeah, you know who I meant.
Cleaver. Yeah, Max Cleaver.
Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah.
Cleveland. Cleveland.
I mean,
You put
I guess it
Cleveland,
was
you
just a
put Cleveland in, and this dude hasn't seen a game of basketball in months.
yeah,
And he was
that was
ice
wrong.
cold.
Yeah,
Max
that was
Cleveland
wrong.
was ice cold from the field. He could not buy a bucket.
But I will
He
also say this on JJ's behalf. He had limited options. Rob Palinka, I don't honestly. Here's my take. I'm not saying the Lakers are bad for getting Luca. Obviously, I think the Mavericks are
No,
stupid.
you're not.
I believe if this was a LeBron James and AD team, they beat the Timberwolves. I'm just being
Yes.
honest. I'm just being honest. I mean, granted, Austin Reeves went to a no-show, turned into AR-15, always running away from the ball because that's what he was doing. He wasn't trying to get the damn ball. He
Austin
was out
Reeves
there
turned
burning
into a
calories.
freaking pumpkin. He was so bad. And
AR, always running, cardio 15, because that's what he was doing is getting cardio. He wasn't making a bucket, not doing nothing. But I believe Anthony Davis stops that shit. I believe LeBron James could have held it down. I think they could have beat the Timberwolves in 6 or 7 games.
because see,
With
here's
the
the problem too. Now, I'll counter with my comments on Cleveland being put into the game. If you put Cleveland into the game early on in the rotation consistently, maybe he would have provided you a spark off the bench. But putting Cleveland into the game when he hasn't played a lick of basketball in months, like, it's alarming. And the fact that as this game furthered on, Luca was getting gassed, obviously because, well, he's out of shape. And number two, LeBron, a 40-year-old man, Father Time is again undefeated, ladies and gentlemen, and Father Time has passed him by. And he looked like an old man,
and he
like
had a knee injury
yeah, and he had a knee
midway
injury.
through the
And oh,
third.
Lucas back was given out, and LeBron's probably back was too because he's having to carry these bums on his back. Since that trade because, I mean, you had and oh, can we also talk about this? The four letter network. Shut the hell up because unlike the Lakers, the first three out of four games in these conference semifinals have been more competitive than the Lakers have been as a team consistently all year long. Because everybody's talking about what's next for the Lakers, what's next for LeBron, what's next for Luca, blah, 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 blah. Can you stop talking about the Lakers and focus on what the hell's in front of you?
Well, yep.
Because these three games on Sunday, hell, that game, and then last night, you had two great game ones to kick off the second Eastern Conference semifinals, and then the opening game between the Nuggets and the Thunder in game one of their Western semifinals. You got these three matchups are going to be very competitive series. And the Lakers wish they had an ounce of a competitive team because everybody in the Western Conference that is a top seeded team has size, strength, and athleticism. The Lakers don't even have half of that. They may have a player or two that can actually, be supposedly athletic. And then you have a whole bunch of players who don't know their role. And then you have, well, Luca, who's easy pickings because he's out of shape. I mean, you are 25 years old. You are in the prime of your life.
Yep, and I will say this about the Lakers though. For all these idiot fans and LeBron fans and Laker fans who sit there and tell me, yeah, we ain't got no size, but the Warriors don't either. Here's where I'll counter that. Draymond Green is a two-time defensive player of the year for a reason, a Hall of Fame defender. He might be undersized, but I promise you, Rudy Gobert ain't gonna get 27 and 24 on Draymond. I
No.
guarantee it.
No.
Because Draymond is a scrappy motherfucker, and we already know it. Speaking of wrestling, Draymond Green is gonna put him in the Gunther sleeper hold and put Rudy Gobert out to sleep. And we already seen that before. So, and I seen a funny video speaking of that because their matchup is here and they also play at 9:30 this evening. I seen a video of Rudy Gobert in the offseason punching a punching bag, and someone headlined it on the meme channel and said, Rudy Gobert getting ready for round 2 versus Draymond. Out there punching a punching bag. But yeah, there's a reason Golden State is undersized like the Lakers, but the problem is they got dogs. The Lakers ain't got no dogs.
They
You
got
got a
cats.
dog to be undersized, and that's
They
what
got
Draymond Green
cats.
and Jimmy Butler is.
Remember
Dog.
that press conference, Kev, when the South Carolina head coach was like, "We got a bunch of we got a bunch of cats. We need more dogs."
That's the Lakers. They got a bunch of cats. They got a bunch of pussy cats. And
Uh,
speaking of pussy cats, I want to talk about the other cat that's in New York,
oh,
Carl Anthony Towns.
that guy.
Speaking of that though, there and we talked about Justin Tucker earlier. I want to talk about we talk about something about being blown and blowing and all this other blowing. How about all the top seeds just blowing leads like crazy in the last 2 days?
Celtics
I
20
mean,
point lead. Check.
Boston selling tickets. Everybody on FanDuel has the
Selling
Celtics winning this.
tickets.
They're the Boston selling tickets because they go up 20. Then all of a sudden, Jason Tatum's out there trying to be like Steph Curry shooting the ball. 19 threes this clown put up. Then he's out there chasing triple doubles in the second half. Doesn't take a shot in the third quarter. Jason Tatum said, "Nah, I'm good. I'll wait till the fourth." Then he shoots 1 of 10 in the fourth quarter in overtime. One of
Jalen Brown, same thing. 1 of 10.
Jalen
Putrid.
Brown, JB, just bricks because that's all they were throwing up in the second half was just bricks. I mean, they missed 3 after 3. There was a time that the selling tickets threw up
Selling tickets.
10 straight missed threes back to back to back to back. I said, "What are you doing?" And then here comes Jalen Brunson, who looked like the best player in the damn series, turn it up. And Mikal Bridges is making some big time defensive plays, but I'm sorry. They got that one game. I don't trust the damn Knicks to save my damn life.
I don't
Boston,
either.
they better get their shit together. But that might be a wake up call Boston needs. But like, quit shooting so many damn threes. Jason,
15 of 16. 15 of
get your
60,
big ass
excuse
in the
me.
paint.
Oh my God.
Get your big ass in the paint. You're
15
16.
of 60. If you're missing 47 consecutive threes, get your ass in the paint.
And that's what Boston did. They were selling people's tickets on that night. They said, "Oh, you had us winning, not today. Knicks winning this." And
Oh
I don't.
my.
And then we talk about the other one. Indiana came out firing though. I was
Dude,
surprised.
Tyrese Halliburton, man, was a dog in that game.
Yeah.
Cleveland. I was shocked that Cleveland damn laid an egg. Basically, maybe they got so used to Miami laying down that they thought they were gonna get them to lay down, and Indiana came out scratching and clawing. So,
I mean, this Indiana team, if they catch fire, it's going to be hard to stop
oh
them.
yeah,
I
they're
mean,
hot. They get hot when they catch fire, but that's the problem. Same with Halliburton. He's so streaky. One game he does that, and the next game he has like 2 points on 1 of 10 shooting and 21 assists. So I don't know what team we're gonna get. I don't know about Cleveland. Like I said, the verdict is still out on the Cavs whether they're a regular season team or are they for real. I mean, this might be the Boston Celtics, the Boston selling tickets invitational right now, TD Garden Invitational because I don't know anybody in the East that's going to compete with them.
And that also brings up another point too when it comes to is the verdict still out when it comes to the Thunder? Now, look, the Thunder are a young team. They were the top seed last year. They lost to the Mavericks in 6 games in a very competitive series. And last night on their home floor, you were up double digits in this game in that second half. And you let Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and company get hot, and especially Gordon. I mean, Gordon was hitting threes left and right, hitting free throws when it mattered the most, unlike the Thunder. And then Jokic was just doing Jokic things. I mean, 42 points in this game. I mean, he kept shooting his way back his team back into the game. And they made a lot of great plays. And I think the Thunder, they were caught, sleeping at the wheel basically.
I think the Thunder wanted the Clippers to win that matchup because, again, like I said for the Golden State Warriors, experience matters. And
Mm-hmm.
what OKC seen, they got shell shocked because Jokic has been in that position. Jamal Murray has been in that position. I mean,
Russell
Aaron Gordon
Westbrook
has
has been
been
in
in
that
that position.
position.
Russell Westbrook's been in that position. They knew how to handle it. They were just okay, cool. We're just gonna play our game and get back in it and do right. And that's what happened. Now the pressure is on OKC fully. We're about to see the verdict now because you lost home court after they blew that home game. That means Denver now has home court advantage,
Mm-hmm.
and Denver's up 1-0 on you. So you have to win game two. That's almost a must win game if
And
you're down 1-0.
And think about this, guys, and as I'll pose this question to you, because I mean, when I look at teams that have top seeds in these playoffs over the years, look at the teams that have the running, away MVP winner, such as Derrick Rose in 2010, 2011. When Chicago had that great number one seed, 60 plus wins. They were talked about, oh, they're going to go to the finals. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And usually, when the top seed has a MVP candidate in the last 15, 20 plus years, we've seen a lot of these teams lose in either the championship round or the first, second, or conference finals. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
It is. You could bet the farm on any team that has a number one player or is a well touted player like a Derrick Rose, like a LeBron James, like a and whoever it is. It doesn't matter. You could be a generational pick, but if your team, you know, doesn't work well together or they don't play their best effort, they're not going to make it. It doesn't matter. You could, like I said, you could be Derrick Rose, you could be LeBron, you could be. There's even times where the Golden State Warriors, as good as they are, have had issues. Whether it was, just a bad mix of players, or they just weren't at 100%. They didn't have all their players healthy. Things like that happen, and then your team still falls. They can fall as early as the freaking first round, or they could fall as late as the championship match.
I
It
mean,
doesn't.
look at the Mavericks in 2006, 67 plus wins or 65 plus wins. I think it was 67 in the end, but 65 plus wins. Dirk Nowitzki was the MVP of that regular season, and the Golden State Warriors, an 8 seed, upsetted them in the first round.
Here's what I'll say about it. Here's what I've learned, and I'll take it from what Draymond said, and when he promised a championship this year, and people looked at him like it was stupid. I mean, that was still a bold claim, but he basically said it. Seeding doesn't matter. Not when you got championship pedigree. Like, there's not a team in the West I'm scared of. You think I'm scared of Oklahoma City? They haven't been there. Why am I going to be scared of them? Because they're a 1 seed? I don't care. They just beat the 2 seeded Houston Rockets. You think I'm scared of them? That's basically what Draymond is saying. Like, if you haven't been there, done that, I am not scared of no 1 seed. 1 seed doesn't mean a fuck if you don't if you ain't got the experience. Because playoff basketball is not regular season basketball. You can win and play all you want in the regular season. Doesn't mean you're going to do it in the playoffs. You can be a whole.
SG, SGA is a credible talent. He's an incredible athlete.
But you
He's
know
one
what
of
the
the
problem
best.
with SGA is? He doesn't get the call in the playoffs like he does in the regular season. The whistle
Nope.
is different. They
Nope.
let you be physical in the playoffs. Look at Golden State. They about killed my boy Steph Curry with his thumb. They were beating the shit out of him, and he didn't get no single whistle. Didn't complain about it either. Just they don't call stuff in the playoffs. SGA is relying on a lot of calls to get to the foul line, and I love SGA, but we've seen it before. James Harden in 2017 doesn't work out because they don't call that. Then your game is, oh God, I got to do something different, and it fucks you
Exactly. And that's
over.
why I bring that up because, okay, SGA is probably going to win the MVP, but what? What does that matter? That's just the individual award. And that's why I bring that up as a point to you guys because we have seen the MVP in either the first, second, third, or the championship
Go
round
down.
fold. We've
I
seen it
watch.
happen.
I watched my boys. I watched my boys Steph Curry win unanimous MVP, win 73 games, and blow a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the same damn season. That's why I said that shit does not matter one bit. The playoffs are the only thing that matters.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's go ahead and real quick before we because I want to get what I want to do is I want to get you guys' predictions on the upcoming matchups that we have throughout this these rounds here. But first, a quick update. Right now, 4:08 to go. Cleveland is up 50-39 over the Pacers right now. It's yeah, they're getting Pacers are not getting the shot selection they got in the last game, and let me tell you, the loss the other day at home woke them up
It did. And
because
that's why I think a lot of these series now, these game one losses for these teams are going to be very telling. And already
listen
the Cavs have answered the bell.
listen to this right here. You got Donovan Mitchell right now has got 12. He's got 12 points right now. Right now he is 3 for 4 from 3-point range. And
Gonna shut it.
then you've got Struss who's got 14 points. He is 4 for 7 from 3-point land. And mind you, those are the only field goals he's made outside of a few free
Free throws.
throws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give a shout
so
out real quick here in the chat. My friend Don. What's up, Don?
yes, sir, Don. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Allen's got 8 points. Wade's got 3. Merrill's got 9, and Okoro's got 2. And Porter Jr. has 2 as well. Yeah, let's
Oh,
go
that's a
ahead.
great point by Don here in the chat.
What's he saying?
If the NBA would just, if they would, hold up all those calls where these star players, get all the calls in the regular season versus the playoffs, there would be a hell of a lot more parity. He is absolutely right. Because if you call these games down the middle, you never know who's going to be a top seed in the East or the West.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get into these matchups real quick, guys. We got with us right now, we got Golden State in Minnesota tonight. This is game 1 of the second round. So I want to get your thoughts. Real quick, I'll say this. This is going to be a hard-fought matchup. It's going to be a hard-fought series. I know that Kevin has, according to his chat name, Dubs at 5. Ant-Man, Batman, Wee Man, Dubs at 5.
Nah, I'm not gonna roll with Dubs and fight. This gonna be a bad. This gonna be a hard. This gonna be a physical series. A lot of trash talking. Anthony Edwards and Draymond Green gonna talk that shit, and it's gonna be a lot of shit talking in this matchup. But I could see the series going either way. Both teams are hot. Both teams are very good. Both teams have a killer in the legend killer, Anthony Edwards. Literally, because Randy Orton shared a picture of him giving them the legend killer chain. Because obviously, he eliminated Kevin Durant, eliminated Luca, eliminated LeBron. Now he gets to face Steph. We're gonna see if it continues.
And he
But
eliminated Nikola Jokic last year too in Game
yep,
7.
and Jokic in 7. I think this guy. I'm gonna. I think there's gonna be. I'm gonna say Golden State in 6. I'm gonna roll with it. I think
I'm
it's
gonna roll with
rigged.
Kev as well. I got the Dubs in 6. I just think they're more experienced. I think that their championship pedigree is going to come to fruition.
Yeah, I've got the Warriors in 6 as well.
I do want
Uh,
to bring this up real quick. How
Yeah.
very cool. Round ball rock returns in the fall, baby. The NBA on NBC is back.
Yep.
Quite possibly, in my humble opinion, Round Ball Rock by the great John Tesh, it is the greatest sports theme ever created. It
Yes.
is so good.
It's right up there with the legendary NFL theme, the one that they always play with John Madden was posting those games.
Yep.
That one, yeah, that one right there, yeah. Um, Next matchup we have is the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics.
And Don posed a question right here in the chat. What is going to happen in Boston tomorrow? Well, that's a very good question there, Don, because I think the Celtics are going to bounce back. I would be completely surprised if they laid another egg on their home floor, a la like they did against Miami in 2023. Because if you are the Celtics, you can ill afford to go down 0-2 back to Madison Square Garden.
I
Because,
I tell you like this for this series,
go ahead.
and I truly believe, even though I said I don't believe in the Knicks per se, I think Game Two was a must win for Boston. I believe if they don't win Game Two, this series is over. Whether it be 6, 7 games, I think I just 0-2 down to Jalen Brunson. I don't think it's a good way to come back, and I don't know if Boston has just enough to come back from that. So I think Game Two is a must win. I believe if you're a betting man, I would not take over on the 3-pointer attempts. I believe they will not shoot many threes tomorrow. I think they're going to try to get downhill and just get buckets. Just not worry about the 3-point line. Forget it. Especially Jason Tatum. We might get the Boston Celtics tomorrow, not the Boston Celtics tomorrow, because if we get that team 0-2 going back to the Mecca, yeah, I don't think they can come back from that. So, but overall though, I'm gonna say Celtics in six.
Celtics exists. Okay. Um, it's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Celtics at 7. I think this could push to a 7-game series. New York is gonna put up one hell of a fight, but
Okay.
championship teams are built for these moments.
Okay. I have two scenarios. If Boston wins tomorrow,
Not allowed to
so,
have two scenarios.
mm,
I'm kidding. Go.
if the Celtics win tomorrow, Celtics in 7. If they lose, Knicks in 6.
Really?
I agree with that one.
Because the Knicks would have three home games to play. The
To win
Celtics are
three
going to get,
games.
yep, Celtics are going to get one of those games on the floor if that happens. Um, and then they would get game 5 to force it back to MSG. But if they win tomorrow, it's anybody's game. And also, I would also add this in that I think game 2 for the Thunder is must win as well. You cannot
Oh,
afford
well,
to go back down to Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, down 2 games to none because Jokic, Murray, Westbrook, and company are going to smell blood.
yeah, I don't care who the coach is. You're going back on the road to Denver, down 0-2, no experience. You're playing the two-time reigning NBA MVP and NBA champion and Finals MVP in Nikola Jokic, and have no answer for him. So Game Two is must win for Thunder too, probably just as much as Boston.
Because I'm trying to think of this Thunder team on who they remind me of because they're such a young squad. You
Yeah.
know, they have a lot of great talent. They kind of remind me of that Thunder team when Durant, Westbrook, and Harden were young. And they still had Cephalosha and they had Ibaka. I forget who the other big Collins.
And
Uh,
yep.
I mean, they had such a great team. But man, did the inexperience rear its ugly head at times for them, because they were young. And that's
Yep.
another thing, too, is when you experience multiple failures, if you are the Thunder, how much are you willing to keep going with failing? Because yeah, you get all these accolades in the regular season, but that don't mean crap come playoff time. Because when it's the playoffs, that's when all the games matter. You can't take a series of plays or possessions or assignments off because your backs can go against the wall just like that. Don has the Celtics in six.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I think Denver's experience overall is what's going to lead them to victory in this. OKC's been playing fairly well, but that it, like you said the other night, that it experience reared its ugly head and it cost the big time. So for me, I'm going to go with uh Denver in six.
Like, I'm sorry. Nobody is stopping Nikola Jokic on his path to destiny
No,
because this Thunder team does not have the size to combat Jokic's athleticism, strength, and power and testicular fortitude. Thank you, Mick Foley, for that.
yeah,
Listen, I'm not it. It's no slouch to Oklahoma City, none at all. But you know what? I'm going Nuggets in five.
Oh,
there you go.
wow.
I think Denver takes game two, and then I think OKC wins in the first one in Denver, and then they get a little relaxed, and Denver closes it about the next two. I just I don't know if they got an answer for Jokic. If we get playoff Jokic and Jamal Murray steps up, I don't think just Jay can overcome that by himself, man. And I know they got a team, but who is your true go-to number two? Jamal Murray is the true Robin to Batman. Who is SGA's? We could talk about J Dub all day long, Jalen Williams, but inexperienced. So this is where I say I think we're setting up for an experienced Western Conference Final, a slugfest, a heavyweight showdown with two championship pedigree DNA teams in the Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors.
In a series that we thought we were going to get a couple of years ago. I
I'm
mean,
predicting that this year.
I think this year they're on a collision course with destiny, both of these two teams, because you got Nikola Jokic right here who's playing some of his best basketball, arguably from an individual standpoint, over the last 5, 6 years. I mean, year after year, he is putting up these crazy, insane stats. And I will go on record and saying here on tonight's show that Nikola Jokic, for the first time, in my personal opinion, he has brought back the fun in basketball because he's such a cool, calm, collected dude. And just how he plays, he is just so relaxed out there. He is just having fun, and he's such a freakish athlete. I mean, to play with such, skill above the rim and on the outside, shooting these jumpers and passing like a point guard. I mean, good Lord. I mean, just he is so hard to stop. I mean, just an incredible athlete.
Yeah, so I'm predicting, guys. I'm predicting a. I ain't going too far though for that, but I'm predicting a Thunder and Warriors Western Conference Finals for the ages. That's going to be a showdown. Two championship DNA teams.
You mean Nuggets? You said Thunder.
Nuggets. Yeah, Nuggets and
Yeah.
Warriors. And we go to the last one, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The way it looks so far, they seem like they're on a collision course to tie this series. So I'm gonna go off the assumption it will end up being 1-1 after tonight. I'm gonna say Cleveland is six, man. If Donovan Mitchell plays consistent, I believe they can squeak past another inconsistent team. That's pretty good when they want to be good, but I think they'll squeak past Indiana. But I think each game, no game's going to be a complete blowout. I think it's going to be a dogfight. But I'm going to say Cleveland is six.
Denver, or excuse me, Don has Denver in seven
Wow.
on the road again.
Well,
Wow.
the road team more experience, more championship DNA on the road is always going to beat the inexperienced home team.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of this Cleveland Indiana game right now, it is 61-50 at halftime. Cleveland in the lead.
Oh, if you're Indiana, you are fortunate.
Yeah.
because
And
an
mind
11-point lead by today's standards is nothing.
mind you, Cleveland has 3 players currently out right now.
Ooh.
That's true. Evan Mobley, uh, DeAndre Hunter, and Darius Garland.
Yep, all
That's
out.
Yep.
starters.
Yeah,
Crazy.
let's get into the world of the NFL, shall we? Real quick. As I'm pulling up Mr. Schefter's famous account here. Obviously, let's get into the big story, and that is, of course, Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker
Oh
was
boy.
officially let go from the Baltimore Ravens the other day, as Baltimore likes to put it, for football reasons, but we obviously know why. It's because of because of all the women, the women that have filed sexual assault allegations against him from him being at massage parlors and spas and things like that. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised because, and I know Kev can expand on this too. And I think, him being a former football player himself, he knows, the X's and O's when it comes to being, on teams and how drafting goes. But I think when Baltimore drafted a rookie kicker, that right there was a telltale sign. Tucker's done. Out.
Yeah, I believe they sat back and watched how the backlash it was from the Browns getting Deshaun Watson and having to deal with all that, and they said, no, I don't give a fuck. We're gonna say it's a football decision, but we know that's not a football decision. It's about another ball decision, but but it's not. It's clearly they don't want to deal with the drama. They want to get it over with. Plus, you look at last year, Justin Tucker went right down the hill last year. Couldn't kick worth a damn half the year. I mean, missed chip shot after chip shot last year. So
Missing 50 plus
look at
yard kicks in his sleep that he would make.
And
exactly. So
you
now the Ravens are looking at like, hell, you're not even making field goals. Why are we going to deal with the drama too? Nah, you got to go.
and not only that, you knew something was up when they drafted a kicker in the 6th round, Tyler Loop, and then they brought in Wyoming kicker John Hoyland to rookie minicamp this past weekend. So
Absolutely.
All I'm saying as a team, as a 49er fan, and who needs a kicker because I can't stand that damn fucking Jake Moody, I say no. I say no, and we need a kicker, and I say no. I don't want the drama. I don't want the bullshit. If you did that, you're a piece of shit. Even if you didn't do that, yeah, I don't want to deal with the drama. So no.
Guys, we're forgetting something here real quick. Who was the one team in the NFL that would take on such bullshit?
Cleveland.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay! Boy, him and then I can imagine it now. Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson gonna go to the same massage parlor every week. They're gonna be going back to back. I guess they're gonna be rub buddies. Yes.
They'll be doing the same thing in prison if they all both get convicted.
They're trying to build another prison.
That's what you call giving them that's what you call them giving them the Diddy treatment.
That gives a whole new meaning to rub and tug.
Oh my God.
But anyways,
Hey-oh.
other news before the show gets canceled. Patriots selected Julian Edelman to their Hall of Fame as the team's 37th inductee.
Right?
Ooh, very nice.
Washington, D.C. will hold the 2027 NFL Draft at the National Mall, where the Washington Monument stands.
Interesting. A lot of great things coming from for the Commanders organization.
Yep. Let's see here real quick. Phil Simms, number 11 with the Giants, is still expected to stay retired as Abdul Carter's search to find a New Jersey number to wear in New York continues.
He's high as hell if he thinks Lawrence Taylor was going to give up his number, and now he's going to try to get Phil Simms. Who's next? Eli Manning?
Oh God, I was just thinking that. Damn it.
He gonna fuck around and rock the number 00. He gonna run out of numbers.
Hey, what if he gets what's his name? Oh my God, Justin Tuck, right?
Oh yeah, Justin Tuck.
Yeah, get his number.
Now he should get 00 because that's the percent chance of him getting a Super Bowl in that organization. Double
Oh,
zeros.
yeah.
You know what? Justin Tucker should change his number to 25 because that's how many years to life he's going to get in prison for those assault allegations.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Just
damn,
saying.
Deshaun Watson should change his number to 32 because
Damn.
that's how many cases he's got filed against him.
Oh, other news here: the 49ers, your guys signed Ross Dwelly back to a 1 year deal.
My good old Ross, Rick Ross,
Yeah,
Ross
played.
Duell.
Yeah, he played 7 seasons with you guys.
Yeah, he was good backup tight end. He definitely was a good run blocker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just in case George Kittle wants to take his talents into the squared and circle one day in
Hey,
the league.
I'd be cool with that. Justin Tucker in a match. Let's go. Not Justin Tucker, George Kittle, excuse me.
Yeah, George Kittle come out there and say Pat McAfee Saturday. I'm all for it.
Ooh. Yeah.
Steelers have officially signed Robert Woods to a 1 year contract.
Man, he's been everywhere, man.
Yeah, he bounced around the league. He about like Dennis Schroeder in the NBA. Dennis Schroeder's been on like 8 teams this one season
Yup.
before with the Pistons.
Oh, speaking of the Pistons, real quick, that series was interesting with the Knicks and the Pistons
Hey, they gave
because
the Knicks a fight, man.
yes,
They
they
gave the Knicks a
did.
dog fight.
Yes, they did. That was a great series.
Yeah, they
Uh,
were a bullshit call away from being tied in that series too. On that in the Garden, that three should have been a foul.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
They were close to
Agree.
tying that series up and being a different game.
But Jalen Brunson happened, and that's it.
Yep. No, Jalen Brunson's nasty. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
That move he put on him. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that three. Whew. That three was huge. Like Detroit had all the momentum on their side, and then he pulls up for that three, and then swish.
Yeah, I don't know what the Pistons were thinking, not doubling him though, especially with no Carl Anthony Towns because he fouled out. You got to know who's getting the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
That was just piss poor coaching.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was a great season for the Pistons. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, nothing. They're ahead of schedule. They're like the Houston Rockets. Like they were so much ahead of schedule. Like Houston shouldn't hang their head as well as Detroit. Like they were Houston, for example, they were 14th last year. Now they're second. That's ahead of schedule. Detroit was like 12th last year. Now they're sixth. That's ahead of schedule. That's a good leap.
yeah,
Oh, real quick. Okay, this is a nice little interesting point. 32 was OJ's number as well, Don says here in the chat.
uh,
Well,
Holy shit. I didn't
that's
even
no
think about
something.
that until he just said it. Oh my God.
We might as well name
oh,
them the Cleveland Penitentiary and we'll them all wear brown jumpsuits.
Penitentiary.
Hey, they should be the Cleveland Penitentiaries and all wear brown jumpsuits because hell, you got OJ, Deshaun Watson, and Justin Tucker. Hell, they should share half. Of, they should sell half the team to Diddy and R. Kelly. At that point,
Oh God.
just bring them all together.
No, at that point, we ain't going nowhere.
Oh, you going somewhere, all right? You going behind the jail cell?
Or as Kevin
You're
Holland said,
going.
as Kevin Holland once said one night, you're going to have a night in the clink tonight. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
let's talk about this too. This news, of course, broke on Wednesday. Would figure it break on a Wednesday when we're not on. But of course, as you know, there was expected to be some fallout from the investigation into the prank phone calls
Mm-hmm.
to Shador Sanders. Well, there was, and that was a total of $350,000 worth of fines levied against the Falcons in some form or fashion, and that comes down to 250,000 for the team and 100,000 from Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator,
Man,
for
I
failing
know.
disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft.
I know that, Sanders gets a bad rap because, how his dad, is a Hall of Famer, primetime Deion Sanders, we get all that. And the fact that Shadur had legendary in his locker room, And I'm like, come on, man, like that's a little too much, man. I understand, your dad's a hell of a player. He was a hell of a talent, a hell of a versatile player on, special teams, defense, you name it. But that right there, his reputation just went straight through the mud after that. And as far as the prank calls are concerned, not cool. Not cool at all. And reportedly, other players besides Sanders were also pranked as well. Like, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad. It's a bad look for, football. It's a bad look for them, but you know what? It is what it is. Time has passed. Whatever. But I mean, what are your thoughts, Kev?
About the prank phone call situation.
Well, about the fines too.
Oh, the
300.
fines. I don't get it. I mean, it was a shitty thing to do morally, but I don't know if a fine. I don't know why the Falcons coach got fined. What's he got to do with his son doing that shit? That's what I don't get.
I think it's because of the fact that he left his iPad open and that he did
Ah, okay. Well, see, now that's a different story. I can see it, but I
because
don't
his because his son came out and said that he had gotten the number from his dad's open iPad. That's what it was.
And I'm fine with that. Like that's a good explanation of why he got fined. But them prank phone calls happen way so often. So why are they finding the only person to do it is Shadur Sanders? Because Abdul Carter actually spoke out and said he got prank phone call, but he knew it was different. He just hung it on up and waited for the real person to call. They didn't do
Yeah.
nothing to him. I just think these prank phone calls happen every year. So I don't understand why they're so zeroing in on the one about Shadur Sanders. But I don't know. It was morally wrong. I wouldn't do that to somebody. That's fucked up. But
Yeah, it is.
that is morally fucked up.
Also, real quick, I do want to bring up last night. I know we don't talk about wrestling all the time, but I got to bring up last night. What an incredible Raw last night. That was some good stuff.
Yes, yes, it was.
Oh, man, it was so good. I
I
mean,
was about to say that main event. I was about to get pissed off. I was about to riot. I was about to say, do not do Jay wrong like y'all did about that Intercontinental title. Don't you take that shit off of him.
oh, it was
But
so good.
but
And
but
But I
dude,
also, the more I thought about it, it kind of started coming to slap me in the face. Like, you know what? Sami Zayn about to come out there and get his lick back. Or, oh, maybe CM Punk's about to come fuck somebody up. And hell, they got both of them. So
yep,
hey,
I
but
was like, I figured it.
it also did you see the after clip too?
Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul
Yes,
knocking
I
Jey
seen
Uso
that.
out.
Knocked Jey Uso out.
yep.
I did enjoy Paul Heyman's crash out, but you know what's crazy though? Even though he's a bad guy, and I love Roman Reigns and CM Punk, Paul Heyman was speaking facts.
He
That's what makes it
was.
so crazy. He was like, "How you gonna get mad about me betraying our tribal chief Jay? And what did you do?" I'm like, "Why? Well, or my best friend, I just helped him, and Roman just turned it back on me. Did he not leave me for the Tongans and Solo and to destroy me? Where was he at then? But he come back for his Ulafala. I'm like, well, you know what? Paul Heyman's just crashing out. He's sick of this shit.
It was so
I
good
thought that
last
was a
night. Just,
beautiful promo though, but I thought that was excellent, especially the emotion Paul Heyman put into on the mic. He was screaming. I was surprised he still had his voice.
oh, I know. It was, it,
He
it
was
was
turning
just,
pure red.
yeah, so good.
I do appreciate what Kevin Owens said. I don't know if y'all caught it on Twitter. He was talking about Seth Rollins, talking about, hey, so are you going to spray tan yourself like the rest of your group? Talking about Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman got spray tans. Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was so good last night. And Lyra's promo with Becky, good God, her
Great.
promo skills have quickly improved. Like she has been killing it on the mic.
Yes, yes, she has.
But yeah, that main event last night, it was so good, very well paced. When Punk came out, that entire crowd just lost it. And also, what I loved last night, and I will not go out the air without mentioning this: Pat McAfee and Gunther last night.
Yes.
Gentlemen, bravo. Bravo,
Great.
gentlemen. That was great.
Yes.
That was great. The
I
fact
will
that
say, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. You have had a 3 week build of a storyline, and they have nailed it in 3 weeks. I'm already fired up for this match.
Yes,
I can't
that was
wait.
beautiful. That was a great promo.
Go ahead, Kev.
It's been great. But I will say this about the main event though. It really had you. It really they threw you some curveballs in there toward the end though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that you thought at one point after Sammy came out, you thought Jey Uso was gonna cleanly pin Seth, hit the splash and everything. Nope, wasn't it? Then you thought after Sammy got taken out and Jay got taken out, you thought, oh, Seth is really gonna pin Jay, and then nope, here comes Punk. So they really threw you some curveballs to make you think someone was really gonna get pinned. So I did enjoy that, and I thought it was one of the best main events I've seen in a while, in a long time actually. That was a good main event.
I said it last night after Raw went off the air. I said this Raw reminded me of back when we were kids and the
Yes.
WWF/WWE with the Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression eras were hot every single week. You had to tune in to figure out what was going to happen with the storylines.
Yep, and I also say this before I get off the air. Seth just does not put on bad matches. I haven't seen a
No, he
bad
does
match
not.
in a long time. Not for a long time. At least in this era, within the Triple H era, he has not put on a bad match that I can recall. And him and Jay, they look good last night. And I'm excited to see where Braun Breaker goes with the Paul Heyman situation. Because he's definitely getting pushed to be a main eventer.
Yeah.
And I just love Braun Breaker. He's low key. He is low key funny. Like he's
Real
cool.
quick, shout outs to our boy Joey here in the chat. What's up, brother? Joey,
Look,
Joey's giving you props, Kev, on your name.
Lakers in Cancun. I was gonna say cartoon, cartoon Nicktoons, Lakers in Cancun, Wolves in 5.
Dude, that would have been money.
But I didn't want to because everybody think I might be talking about the Wolves in 5 against the Warriors. I couldn't do that. Well, fellas, I'm about to hop off here.
Great
All
job,
right, man.
dude.
It was good talking sports with y'all, and I hope to be on next week, same time, same thing.
Yes, sir.
All
Will
right, y'all
do.
be good. Take
Yep, you
care.
too, brother.
All
Yep.
right, peace.
All right, that was our buddy KR, Kevin Rory. And it's going to be he'll be on hopefully with us next week as well. Um it's been a crazy week overall in the world of sports, and we're gonna clip it off here with the mention of a big event happening this weekend in the world of mixed martial arts, and that is UFC 315. And big huge card coming up this weekend. This will take place at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This time around, the main matches we got some great matches on this card. We're gonna, of course, start off here with some of the preliminary bouts with some notable fighters in it. Jessica Andrade will be facing off against Jasmine Yasudavicius. If I mispronounced that, butchered it, I apologize. But the main card is what's going to be killer. You got Benoit Saint Denis taking on Kyle Pripolich, Alex Grasso, and Natalia Silva in a women's flyweight bout. You got Eman Zahabi taking on the legend himself, Jose Aldo, former UFC champion in his own right, one of the greatest to ever do it. Then 2 title fights will end the card. Women's flyweight championship, Valentina Shevchenko will defend her title against Manon Fiorot. And then the UFC welterweight champion, Bilal Muhammad, will defend against Jack Della Maddalena. So you got some pretty cool fights coming up here. It's cool to see Jose Aldo back on the card. I haven't seen him in a little bit.
Yeah, he hasn't been there in a good hot minute.
Yeah, I don't know when his last fight was. I have not, like I said, I haven't seen him in a while. Let me see when his last fight was, because I don't even remember. That's because I only started rewatching. I started watching MMA on a more frequent basis recently. Okay, he's coming off. He's coming off only winning one out of his last three fights. He lost 278. He lost to 301 and then 307. Or he won it. Yeah, he won at 301 and then lost to 307. So we got that coming up from the UFC. Also this week, just to give, obviously we don't try to keep the pro wrestling talk to a minimum for the nation's corner, but I do want to give you some shout outs to some events happening this weekend. Obviously, Friday, I mentioned about TNA Resurgence, which is going to feature some great bouts on that card. It's free if you're a TNA Plus subscriber, or it's 15 bucks or so on the Triller TV app. So figure out your best point of purchase to do that. Of course, SmackDown Friday, but then Saturday, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is going to host an event. And they got, of course, an NWA World's Heavyweight Title defense. Of course, the NWA World Champion is Thomas Latimer. And of course, we're getting closer to the Crockett Cup as well with Natty Neidhart getting ready to take on Kenzie Page for the Burke. But Maple Leaf Pro is also going to have a cool matchup: Bullet Club's past versus Bullet Club's future, as the War Dogs, Drilla Maloney and the Rebel David Finlay take on the Big LG and the Machine Gun from the OG Bullet Club.
Nice.
And then also Saturday is, of course, Backlash, with possibly the final time, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed title, Pat McAfee versus Gunther, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the WWE Women's United States title. And also
IC title.
IC title is on the line. I believe it is Dirty Dom taking on Penta.
Also women. Yeah, yeah. And you meant the women's IC title.
Yeah, women's IC title, yeah. So yeah, there's that coming up, and then Maple Leaf has a show on Sunday. Also, I usually don't plug this promotion because of a certain individual on commentary, but want to give a shout out to House of Glory. They're doing a show in Chicago this weekend also. Miyu Yamashita, who we've seen on many shows, Bloodsport, GCW, regular shows. She will take on the newest signee to TNA Wrestling, former NXT Women's Champion Indy Hartwell. So
Sweet.
That's gonna be a real good fight. So those are just a few things to check out this weekend. Obviously, UFC 315. It just so much great stuff this weekend. And Steven, obviously, you're gonna have a busy weekend yourself. What festival is this again?
It is the Sonic Temple Music and
Okay.
Arts Festival, and it's
Okay,
going to be
Sonic Temple.
it's at the same stadium. It was called Matford Stadium all those years. Now it's just called One Black and Gold. Uh, or that's where it's at, but the stadium is called Historic Cruise Stadium.
Okay, yeah. It's a yes, it is one of those multi-day festivals with like 60 bands on it. But it's gonna be a hell of a time. Steven's gonna enjoy it. We're excited for him. He's gonna rock out this weekend. It's gonna be a good time. Also, Steven, to let you know, your room is super dark, so be prepared to have somebody turn your light on for you. Yeah, because it's not like Motel 6 where they'll leave the light on for you. You have to do it yourself. But
Yep.
Steven, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we close out the show today?
Uh, Not a whole lot. We covered a lot tonight. Just
Oh, yeah.
looking forward to next week, recapping this weekend, and also we will be we'll do the show in 2 weeks when the schedule comes out. But who knows? We might do a pop-up surprise show. I mean, who knows? I mean, it just depends.
Oh, the NFL, the NFL schedule dropped, right?
The NFL schedule does drop on the 14th.
They did?
No, it drops on the 14th.
Okay, yeah, because I got a text the other day from that, I believe, or something.
Yeah, it dropped. The full schedule comes out May 14th.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense then. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy when the full schedule comes out, and like it is so crazy. Like 2025 has been moving by so quickly so far. We're already in the month of May, and just it's amazing. I mean, right now, the sports is hot and heavy. I mean, the playoffs right now in the NBA, the NHL, obviously baseball is obviously started with their regular season. I mean, the UFL has started their season about a month or so ago. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot going on, and we look forward in a couple weeks breaking down significant games for the upcoming 2025 NFL regular season. And we also look forward to doing our next prediction battles when we get that going up in September in the fall.
yeah,
Looking forward to this weekend. I mean, it's two sets from Metallica, Alice Cooper, Alice in Chains, Rob Zombie. I mean, Korn. I mean, just lots of great bands. It's going to be a hell of a time. Uh, just this was the one festival that really sold me. With its lineup. I mean, I'm not going. I'm not going to be in there. 12 hours every day because I mean, going to festivals, you have to pace yourself, and it's going to be it's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it. Was a great show tonight with you guys. Thanks to Kevin for joining us here tonight. Thanks to our buddies Joey and Don joining us here in the chat tonight. And for those that tune in on demand, thank you very much as well. You can follow us on our individual channels on Twitter right there in the description. You can also follow Joseph Thornton at roll_tide 1992 as well. And all of our individual channels will be listed in the description below. You can also follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Your Nation Sports Show, and where we are live on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific at YouTube.com/Your Nation Sports Show. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff to your family and your friends that love the world of sports and that also love wrestling if you do that as well, because the Nation's Corner brings to you their analysis on the world of professional wrestling. And shout outs to our guy here, Ezra, for being on the last couple of weeks, helping out the guys and gal, with some of these episodes in the last couple of weeks. You've been killing it, dude. Uh, I always enjoy when you and Neil get together and talk about your knowledge of the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You
yes.
can
And we're hoping eventually soon, probably around the time of I imagine the G1 or one of the bigger shows later on this year. Maybe, hopefully, if we could work it out. I'm trying to remember the name of the show. It's the big one that happens every. It's usually the one that happens in June. But
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of the show because
yeah,
I
it's the one that happens just shortly before the G1 tournament. I'm trying to go ahead and keep talking while I pull that out.
Uh, you can follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook.com/Nation's Corner, Instagram/Nation's Corner, and where they are live on most Saturday nights, unless a pay-per-view like this weekend. Backlash is once again preempting that. You can follow the Nation's Corner on their YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nation's Corner, where they are live on most Saturday nights, where it's all right for fighting with a little wrestling talk at youtube.com/The Nation's Corner.
Oh yes, definitely. By the way, that show was Dominion.
That's right.
Dominion. We're hoping to get our good friend Karen Peterson to jump on with us too, because those shows are always the best shows. But
Karen, you and Neil back and forth all the time. Such instant chemistry. It's great.
thank you. Anything else?
I think that will do it for me. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. And for those that tune in on demand, thank you very much as well. And with that being said, we're out of here. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Will do, man. Thank you to everybody joining us live and watching us on demand. We appreciate your support. It's time to dig into a little NXT. The number one contendership battle royal is coming up next. So if you're not watching it right now, I mean, if you are, it's been a good show so far. But we out of here. So with that being said, for Kevin Rory, for Joey Thornton, for Randy Guy, for Stephen Wyand, and everybody in the Sports Show Nation, I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. We will see you all next Tuesday, same time, same YouTube channel. Peace out, everybody.